Hello captains, it's me Tonic TZW here in the Tier 7 British cruiser, the Plymouth, which is a premium ship. I'm sure some of you might have picked it up with your 70% off coupon that we so graciously received from Wargaming over Christmas. But even with 70% off, it did that mean that you had to pay 30% of the money. So you got it for cheap, but you didn't get it for free. This one I've had a long time, and I know there's always a lot of questions around whether or not you should play Radar Plymouth or whether you should play Smoke Plymouth. Now, personally, when I'm playing in Division, I will play a Radar Plymouth because generally I've got somebody in a destroyer who's quite competent and can spot for me and allow me to position myself where I can't be seen but can see the enemy targets that are being spotted for me and rain hellfire down on them. Well, not fire, because this thing only has armor piercing. But when I'm in standard matches and I'm playing solo, then it's a smoke screen for me, baby. But don't worry, we're not going to be a dope in a smoke, because if you watch me play any class of ship, you'll know that I don't necessarily like to sit still. I'm always one to try and have a bit of movement. Now, the reason that I like to keep moving is, firstly, it makes me a lot harder target. It means that I can position around the map, and it means that it keeps red team on their toes as to where I might appear next after I disappear and head away from them. But there's a lot of torpedoes come across the cap there. Our destroyer is contested. You'll notice that my guns have pretty much been tracking our destroyer on the cap the whole time. I do get spotted. We hit the smoke, and we are also going to run the sonar, I think, shortly, because we have two destroyers. One destroyer and a cruiser, but both with lots of torpedoes. Now that guy is slowing down to set his smoke screen, and knowing that he's likely to come to a full stop before he goes backwards, we aim a little bit to his center rear and we drop a lovely shot straight through the middle for about 6k, and we pick up a first blood and our first kill of the game. But no, we aren't going to stop there. Now, our destroyer should have hopefully have thought about seeing that cruiser and turned around and started heading in this direction without firing his guns, but no, unfortunately we lose him from the game. But he's going to do his little bit for the team. He misses the torpedoes, but we are going to keep railing on this Shamanto as long as we can. He's at range. Even though these are AP shells, they're quite a high trajectory, and at range they can take a long time to get there. Now, as far as captain and inspirations go on this one, I think I've got Azure Lane Cheshire on this. So I do have a premium commander on this, and I think it's Yamamoto as an inspiration, and another premium commander as an inspiration called Andrew the Lip. Now, Andrew the Lip gives you a bonus to your AP damage for every consecutive hit on a target. I think it's to a maximum of 14.5% in 0.5% increments. So if shell 1 hit for 100 damage, then shell 2 would get us 105 damage, and then that would continue to stack up until a maximum of 114.5 damage per shell. But you've got to be landing those shots consecutively. It's harder at range when your shots are getting dispersed all over the place. But if you get close in on a target, like I've got a lovely little clip that I'm going to drop on the channel over the weekend. I fired a salvo at a broadside Catalunya, and I hit 14 out of 16 shells and put 9 citadels through him. That's probably going to be the most citadels and the most hits I've ever had in one salvo, but it is helped by the fact that you've got 16 guns on this thing. quite a reasonable reload. Not the largest of calibers, but they're able to do quite a decent amount of damage the more you're hit. The more you hit the target. I've also got a legendary mod on this, so at the moment I've got an extra 10% damage because we've got 2 kills. So if you think that if I was getting a maximum stack from Andrew the Lip, I'm doing almost an extra 25% damage per shell. But at the moment we're doing an extra 10%, and that is really going to make a difference. And for every 30,000 damage we do, we are going to pick up an extra 2% of range. Now that is useful, having the range, because the guys like this Florida who are running away as fast as they can, it can allow you to chip away at them, but also because you are at range, it gives you enough time to maneuver when they fire to avoid their shells. Now, Mr. Picardy here, he's obviously a French brawling battleship. Is he French? I can't remember. Is it French or is it Pan-Euro? I'll have to check again. That many ships in the game now, I can't remember. But as I was saying earlier, high arcs on these shells, so we can get across the top of that island. We're using our smoke screen. We are invisible to the Florida who is running across the map, and you'll notice that even though the Florida was in range, I didn't start firing at him because there are other ships here that have the range to shoot at him, because I wanted to stay undetected, push up the flank and get into a position where once the battleship goes around the corner and starts tanking a bit of damage from stuff out there, that I can remain hidden. They won't know I'm here until the smoke goes up and the shells start coming in. But this Picardy here, he's realised that he's starting to take a lot of fire. There's probably more ships out here than he was expecting. He might be trying to get himself secondary hits, but we're trying to gauge his speed as he comes out of the turn, stay in our smoke screen, keep wailing these shells across the top while he's spotted. Like I said, Battleship is doing a great job. He is able to tank damage, and that is what he is doing. The Picardy here tries to blind fire my smoke screen, and that's another useful thing to try and do. Because with that Picardy putting a salvo my way, that means it's a salvo that hasn't gone at my teammate when he is much closer, and would probably take a much bigger hit than 1 or 2 shells that might have connected with me in my smoke screen. But there we go, we get a kill assist on the Picardy. I think he went out to the fire even though our salvos were landing on him. But the team now control 3 caps. So we're going to have a points advantage. We've got, a 1-ship advantage there. We've got the Tiger 59 coming in. I know not to turn broadside in a Tiger 59. He loses half his hit points there in 1 salvo. I also know he doesn't have torpedoes as he takes a citadel from us. My smoke screen runs out as I fire a salvo, but we're going to drop another salvo through him there, pick up another citadel, and that is kill number 3. But we are spotted by the Florida now, and he is well on his way across the map. He is in range, but we want to go dark because I want to get the cap, because the cap will give us even more of an advantage. Even though we pretty much seem to have this one in the bag, I have seen games thrown in the last second, and it always happens. But I'm just going to use my front turret to try and gauge the drop on this Florida. And you'll notice that given how much of the game we've played, we are, let me just quickly check the time there, we are more than 10 minutes into this game, and I haven't lost a single hit point. But I've done 67,000 damage, I've got 3 kills, I've got a kill assist, we've got some citadels there, we took a first blood. But I am going to lose some hit points momentarily because I take my eye off the ball, that ball being the Florida, and he is going to get a sneaky little shot in on me and do a little bit of damage, or should I say a lot of bit of damage, while I'm distracted. So one of the reasons that I'll generally try to keep an eye on the target is as and when, if I can time his reloads, so as and when he's coming up ready for a reload and I'm shooting at him, I'll have a look to see if he's targeting me. So here we go. I see these ones coming in, so I slow down and I turn in, and we get a little bit of a tickle there, but I stop looking at him for a moment, and what I don't see is that there's another set of shells going to be coming in. That was his front turrets, and that hit me hard. But still, to get all the way through to this point in the game without losing any health is an achievement in itself. There should be an achievement for surviving a battle without losing a single hit point, because I've done that a few times, and I've also done that in Kraken games as well. And speaking of Kraken games, we are on 4 kills, 1 assist. We could have had it already had we gotten the pickup of the kill on the Picardy. There is 1 ship left, and he is there. Basically, I think he's trying to chase our destroyer down. He's being brave. Well, is it brave or stupid if you're chasing a destroyer in a battleship? I'll always try to kill a destroyer in a battleship, and that's one of the things, guys, I'll remind you all for the new year. If a destroyer is spotted, everybody should be shooting at it. It doesn't matter what ship you are in, whether or not you have armor piercing or high explosive loaded, because every hit point that you take off that destroyer is going to make him rethink the way he plays his game. Now, I'm playing risky business here because I don't know if this battleship is looking in my direction. This could be very dangerous sailing across this gap. But sail across the gap is exactly what we're going to do, because I think we've probably got this one on the bag. We've got it won. Half expecting the destroyer's torpedoes to pick that one up. I get him spotted. We're going to have enough time to get 2 salvos out here, but then I've carried too much speed and I'm going to go past and lose sight of him. And I'm thinking, well, how the heck wasn't the destroyer spotting him? But the second salvo lands, and unsurprisingly, or quite surprisingly, because I didn't think 2 salvos would kill him, we get Kraken Unleashed to go with our first blood. So a great way to start and a nice way to end, especially when we're up there at the top of the board. Don't forget, you can support the channel by leaving a super thanks on the video, taking out a channel membership, or there is a PayPal link in the channel description if you want to give me all your money and not have YouTube take 1/3 of it. These are my channel members, and thank you very much to all of those, and please keep contributing throughout the new year, because half the money goes to Charlie. Until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.